Hey everybody, it's Anitra Durand-Allen, author, speaker, communication strategist, and bliss coach, helping you experience bliss in every aspect of your life. And today is the second segment of Ask Anitra. Now, if you haven't had an opportunity to submit your pressing marriage, relationship, or parenting questions, I invite you to visit my website, anitradurandallen.com/Ask Anitra, and submit your questions today. Today's question comes from a father of two young children, both under the age of 8. And he asked this: what do I tell my children who are now asking me about my father, even though he wasn't around when I was growing up? Now, I have to tell you that this one was a bit emotional for me because, as you know, I'm a bonus mom and I have a teenage son. And the decision that we made to have him raised in our family, in our home, was so that he would never experience not knowing his father, having his father be a part of his life. And I was fortunate to be raised in a home with both of my biological parents, but we had a blended family. And I raised my niece for several years in my early 20s, so I understand and have experienced firsthand some of the emotional challenges and the issues that come along with having an absentee parent, or not being raised in the home with your parent, or even being raised by a single parent. And growing up in the 80s, for me, it wasn't common to have, single parent homes. Only 19.5% of all U.S. homes were led by a single parent in the year 1980. Fast forward 30 years to 2010, and 30% of U.S. homes are being led by single parents. And so the new normal, or the modern family, or the nuclear family, is shifting. And it's a very different picture today than what it was when we were growing up as children. And I thought about that when I was deciding how I was going to respond to this question. And there's 3 points that I want to share with you that I'm hoping will help you communicate this with your children while still experiencing and maintaining your bliss. And the first point is this: don't assume. We know what they say about what assuming does to you and me, right? So don't assume. But what I really mean is, don't assume that your child has the same context for your parents' absence that you do. Your child is growing up in a home with parents present. You're a part of their everyday life and a part of their everyday experience. So be careful not to project your understanding of their absence onto your child's understanding of your parents' absence. The second thing that I want to share is, be careful to share only as much as you can without becoming emotional. It's a difficult topic. It pulls at the heartstrings quite a bit, especially if you're in the shoes of one who grew up without a parent, without a father, without a mother in your life. But you want to be careful to communicate without crossing that line of emotionalism, because you don't want your children to begin to believe that their curiosity is wrong. You don't want them to think that having asked that question is now making mommy or daddy sad. We don't ever want our children to believe that their curiosity is a bad thing, because it can lead to insecurity for your kids. So be very mindful about sharing only as much as you can without becoming emotional. And the third thing is, be honest. You have to be honest. Kids have a built-in BS detector. They know when we are not telling them the truth. And it's important that you're honest, because at some point you may need to share more than what you're able to at this point in time, and you want them to understand and believe that you're telling them the truth. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to tell all the down and dirty details or share every little thing that happened and all of the gruesome details, if there are any, but you do want to be honest, and you want to tell them as much as you can in a way that they can understand it. Now, this question actually came in on the heels of a very good friend of mine posting to his Facebook that his son had asked him about his father and he was feeling broken. And there was a onslaught of positive response and encouraging responses and encouraging messages to this friend of mine from other Facebook friends and other people that I know. And he is a fabulous father and a great husband. He has no reason to feel horrible about the relationship that he has with his children. And so I suggested to him that he tell his son that my dad taught me everything I need to know about being a dad. And it's true. He did. That's a truth and a reality that takes a slightly different perspective than what most people would think, but it's a truth that you can share with your kids without telling them all of the horrible things that you may want to share or telling them all of the emotional things that you may be feeling at the moment. So I challenge you to dig deep, get creative, and find ways to share your truth and your honesty with your children without becoming emotional and absolutely without making assumptions about the context with which they see your situation. So this has been Ask Anitra. Again, I invite you to submit your marriage, relationship, and parenting questions on my website. You can follow me on Twitter at Anitra D. Allen or on Facebook at Experience Bliss with Anitra Durand-Allen. And always remember, if you want to know how to experience bliss, just ask Anitra.